I'm getting a little bit of a sore throat, so please bear with me. This may be a short review, but I really wanted to talk about it. Hey, I'm Amy and welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about the new Kumail Nanjiani and Dave Bautista movie, Stuber, where once again, Kumail Nanjiani is the star of a movie. It's his second time starring in a movie. It's also the second time he is an Uber driver in a movie that he is starring in, and there's cat hair on my face. So let's talk about this. Now, I know it's not his fault that he's always an Uber driver. He's not always an Uber driver, and I really hope that you don't hear those people screaming outside my window. He was an Uber driver in a past life, and that's what they talk about in The Big Sick, but in this one, it's pretty much all about him being an Uber driver. We're not here to talk about Kumail Nanjiani playing into a slight stereotype. We're here to talk about the movie, and I actually found it fairly enjoyable. It's not like a perfect movie by any means, but it is a very fun action comedy that definitely knows what it is. I was interested and excited going into this because I really love Kumail Nanjiani, and I have a soft spot for Dave Bautista because Drax is probably my favorite Guardian of the Galaxy. There may be a couple slight spoilers here and there, but honestly, there's only one big twist, and I'm not going to spoil that, even though they did give it away super early in the film. I was not happy with that. That's something I think I probably would have changed. They kind of keep that on the down low. They can still leave little droplets in like they did, but make it a little less obvious until later on. They could have done ways to hide it without telling you right out front. It is also a trope that you often find in these comedy action movies, but I mean, it was a good twist. I just think they just shot their load a little too soon. And speaking of shooting, it is a very violent film, but it does have a lot of heart, and it's very sweet at the end. Rounding itself out, it's very sweet, and I had a lot of fun. So the first really big spoiler is probably something that a lot of people already know. Maybe I didn't know going into this, which I thought was kind of cool. You get Nebula and Drax fighting bad guys together, and I was just like,
this is really cool.
But Karen Gillan only has like a very small part at the beginning, but her part leads to the bigger story of the film. I also really liked that they don't really give away the reason that Dave Bautista and Kumail Nanjiani are paired up together in the first place. Yes, Dave Bautista is taking an Uber, but there is a totally different reason why he's taking it than what you would think, like he just called an Uber because his car broke down or something. No, there's a totally different reason for that, and it's very funny how they get to that point, and it's very interesting. I mean, it's not like insanely interesting, but it's a nice way to push the plot along and to pair this unlikely duo together. Something else I enjoyed was the fact that in the trailers, it's the kind of movie that you think all the funny bits are going to be just in the trailer, and honestly they're not. They have funny bits spread throughout. Now, some of the really major funny bits are in the trailer, but there is enough funny bits throughout to kind of satisfy the fact that some of the stronger bits you did already see. But again, this is not a perfect movie by any means. It knows exactly what it is. There are a lot of action scenes where they're just shooting everywhere and missing people completely, and then totally getting other people, and it's just like, yeah, this movie definitely knows what it is and what it's doing, and it's making fun of itself for that in a way. Maybe not as much as like John Wick, because John Wick definitely knows what it is and definitely leans into that. This movie, it leaned into it, but you know, kind of like you're gently leaning up against a wall. And finally, I want to talk a little bit more about the pairing of Kumail Nanjiani and Dave Bautista. They seem like an unlikely duo, which they are, but the two of them have really great chemistry and they work really well together. And of course, Dave Bautista is hilarious. His character is very similar to Drax, but in a different way. He's not kind of like that weird, dumb, funny that Drax is. He is a very smart and intelligent man, but he is also that very like hard-headed cop guy that The Rock seems to play in a lot of his movies. I also think it's kind of going to be the way that Dave Bautista's character in My Spy is going to be. That got pushed back until next year, I believe, because Stuber was coming out right now, and then My Spy was going to be coming out next week or the week after, and they didn't want the two competing. But anyways, I definitely think Dave Bautista is going to be stereotyped when he's not playing Drax as this tough guy cop character that needs to be broken down by this unlikely partner in like a buddy cop situation, which, I mean, it's not a bad thing to play. He does a great job in the role. He's just typecast. But I mean, I guess wrestlers turned actors do that because John Cena kind of does that too. Except for in that movie with Amy Schumer. Yeah, I don't know. But I did enjoy their chemistry. Kumail Nanjiani is hilarious. I absolutely love him. We all know this. He's great. I mean, it's a good movie. I would recommend watching it. Not necessarily in the theaters, but rewatch score for this, I would give it like a 3 out of 5 stars. But rewatch score is definitely Redbox. If somebody wanted to rent this and watch it with me, I would not say no because it's fun. It's gory in an action movie way. It's violent, but it's kind of like a, you know, turn it on, zone out kind of movie, and it was fun. So now that we got all of that out of the way, I do have a fun little story time for those of you who stuck around through this whole thing. And it is about this crazy lady who came in and tried to kick me out of my seat. Yeah, it was an interesting time. It was probably one of the strangest theater experiences that I've had in a while. And I was once in a theater where a fight broke out and someone almost got pushed over a wall into the little area that you like walk through behind the seats. Yeah, so this lady at first, you know, the previews are starting and she like comes up the stairs, and I always sit at the very, very top of the auditorium, and she comes up the stairs step by step, like one foot and then the other foot on the step, and then one foot on the step above and the other foot on the step above, taking them very slowly. And she's not old. She was probably younger than I am, like maybe in her 20s. I'm in my 20s, I'm almost 30. She was probably somewhere in her 20s. She was like kind of hunched like this. I know there was something definitely wrong with her, just the way she was acting. She also was dressed kind of like she was homeless and like maybe snuck into the theater. It was very strange. But she comes up almost like 3 steps in front of where I was and the couple that was sitting next to me and the guy on the other side of them. She stands there kind of like looking like she's trying to find her seat. She doesn't have like a ticket stub on her or her phone where her ticket seat would be, so it's kind of confused, but she ends up walking down the stairs the exact same way she came up, one step at a time, very slowly, and goes and sits in the very front row where there are no seats taken. And then about a quarter of the way through the movie, she comes up and stands right in front of the 3 of us, or the 4 of us really, mostly me and the couple sitting next to me, and asks us if she can sit where we were sitting. Both the couple and myself were like, no, we paid for these seats. Why are we going to give them up? And she just keeps standing there and asking us to move when we obviously paid for these seats. It was weird. And the guy of the couple sitting next to me says, we're trying to watch the movie. You're being very disruptive. Can you please just go sit somewhere else? These are our seats. And she goes, can you please move over? There's one extra seat there. And he goes, well, you can sit there. And finally, after like 2 or 3 minutes of her bugging us and us missing this part of the movie that actually ends up being fairly crucial to the plot because I was confused for a couple minutes later down the line because we totally missed something because she was talking to us. The older guy on the other side of the couple was like, fine, I'll move. And then she somehow gets the couple next to me out of their seats and then looks at me like, hey, can you move so I can sit there? And I look at her, I'm like, no, I paid for these seats, I'm sitting here. And then she sits, like I'm sitting by the wall, and then she sits in the seat next to me in between this couple and proceeds to fall asleep. We're a quarter of the way through the movie, and I look over at her a couple times and her head's like this, and she's asleep. She wakes up when there's like a gunshot or I cough because, of course, you can probably tell I've probably been coughing a lot, so I would cough and she would kind of wake up a little bit, but then fall back asleep. And it was just very, very strange. I left before she did, so I did not see anything else of what would have happened, but yeah, it was interesting. LA is interesting, guys. So keep that in mind if you want to move out here. You see all kinds of people. I have stories. But, you know, that leads me to the question of the video. Of course, as always, let me know what you thought of Stuber if you have seen it. Did you enjoy it? What did you think of Kumail Nanjiani and Dave Bautista's pairing? What did you like about them? Dislike? all of that stuff. But also, the no context question is your weirdest theater story. It could be something scary that happened, something funny that happened, just something outrageous, anything. I would love to hear it because I got a bunch of funny stories from LA theaters that I could probably tell you, and even some from when I was back home in Indiana. One in particular, oh boy, I wrote a blog post about it years ago when it happened. That's a fun story. I may do like a story time video on that, even though it's like super short. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really truly do appreciate you. Whoever you are, let me know who you are in the comments down below, and let's be friends. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe if you're new, because that's talking on these movies, TV shows, film, history, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye!